Hey everyone, Thordan Smash here, and I have a little bit of a problem. I've somehow gotten stuck in this area. It's got a bunch of walls, and I'm not really sure how to get out. Speaking of which, though, we are going to be talking about another problem that needs some fixing, and that's the matchmaking in Apex Legends. Luckily, though, the Respawn devs have given us some hints about what they are going to be working on in the next few days with it. So we're going to go over all of that. We're also going to go ahead and give out a universal heirloom, not only in this video, but in this video you're seeing on screen right here, where we go ahead and break down how to get in shape from hiking. I was able to lose a bunch of weight in about 6 months just by going through a specific diet plan, and I thought I'd share it with you guys. But without further ado, let's jump into today's topic. Alright legends, Apex has once again cracked open the lab coat, rolled out the chalkboard, and decided to experiment with matchmaking. Will this ever go right? Probably not, but we're gonna talk about it because they're trying some new stuff again. And this time it's targeting the sweaty end of ranks, master players, Diamond 1 grinders, and the occasional Diamond 2 who accidentally wandered into the wrong lobby like they took a wrong turn on the way to pubs. Or maybe that silver player that you've seen 1,000 times somehow get into a predator lobby. I don't know how this happens, but yeah, it's a thing that happens. But these matchmaking changes aren't just about skill fairness, they're also taking into consideration the player count, because Apex isn't at its season 8 to 12 peak anymore. Populations are lower despite what you may think, Q dodging is higher, and if EA/Respawn doesn't play this carefully, the ranked ecosystem could collapse faster than a Revenant ult in a caustic gas room. So back in July, right before we got this new season 26, Respawn rolled out the hard limit test, and I actually liked this idea a lot. Master players could only face Masters in Diamond 1. It was like Apex said, congratulations on grinding your way to Master. Your reward is a 10-minute queue and fighting the same 5 people every night, but at the same time, it meant that silver player didn't get put into the lobby, so it's kind of an equal trade-off. And at first glance, it did sound amazing. Masters were finally free from stomping gold and plat players, and Diamond 1's got the thrill of being Apex's designated punching bag. But when the data rolled in, things I guess looked a little bit mixed, at least according to Respawn. Median matchmaking time stayed the same, which EA framed as a win, but Q dodging spiked 7% higher for Diamond 1 and up. That's thousands of players seeing their lobbies and saying, nope, not gonna do it, not today. And Diamond 1's actually had more hours for farming Masters, and Master players played less because they got tired of staring at the spinning matchmaking wheel longer than it takes to microwave a full Thanksgiving dinner. And Respawn called this generally well received, which in Apex terms basically means Reddit didn't catch fire and set itself ablaze, so we'll count that as positive feedback. However, here's where the crack started to show: population size. When you create matchmaking rules this strict, you need a huge pool of Masters and D1s online at the same time. And sure, during peak hours in high population regions like North America or the EU, this worked okay. But at 2 AM in smaller regions, the matchmaking pool dried up faster than Fuse's liver at a dry wedding. Some players reported 5 to 6 minute queues just to find a lobby. Now, 5 minutes isn't actually that bad on paper, but in a competitive BR where games can last 20 minutes and losses feel brutal, waiting that long just to get one chance kind of felt punishing. And let's be real, in Apex, 5 minutes of queue time is long for most of the players to say, you know what, maybe I'll just play Fortnite for one round. Just kidding, no one wants to go play Fortnite, but I do think they should go ahead and just let players play around in the firing range well in queue. I don't know why that's not a thing. And that's the thing though, Apex doesn't have the luxury of infinite population anymore. Like I said, peak season 10 to 12 Apex, you could have hard limited matchmaking to Masters versus Masters only and still filled lobbies. But now, with fewer people grinding higher ranks, the system doesn't have enough supply to keep things smooth, which means stricter rules, which equals longer waits. And let's also touch on the 7% rise in Q dodges. Why is that happening? Well, at the top, everyone knows everyone. The moment a Master player sees, oh no, it's Timmy on the other team, they dodge. They're like, nah, I know that guy, he's gonna absolutely clap my cheeks. Or worse, they see that one seer main with 10,000 kills and instantly ult 4 because they know how that story is gonna end. And it creates a pretty vicious cycle. Fewer people in the queue equals more dodging, lobbies take longer, master players play less, population shrinks even further. Apex matchmaking is basically eating its own tail. So now, Respawn is saying, alright, we get it, the hard limit was too harsh, time to loosen it up. The plan is they're gonna let Masters match with Diamond 2 and maybe Diamond 3, while keeping Plats and below out of range, because throwing a Plat into a Masters lobby would be less competitive fairness and more sacrificial lamb offering. And the expansion creates a bigger pool while still keeping skill brackets somewhat intact. More diamonds equals more lobbies, fewer dodges, and maybe even master players sticking around instead of rage quitting for the rest of the season. And EA and Respawn is pretty clear about their priorities. Closer matches, shorter queues, transparency about who you're facing, although I'll believe the transparency when I see it, and everyone finds a game, which sounds like a good idea, but also like EA is preparing for us to wait 3 minutes for every lobby and then telling us it's for our own good, or that waiting is a sense of pride and accomplishment. And here's the bigger picture. These matchmaking tests aren't just experiments for fair or ranked, they're stress tests for Apex's shrinking player base. Like I said, let's be real, Apex is still a massive game, but it's not pulling the same numbers it did at its peak. I mean, at one point I think the highest peak was like over 500,000 players just on Steam. It hasn't cracked 100,000 even with the new update. And lower player counts means less flexibility. At lower ranks, it's fine because there are tons of silvers, golds, and plats to shuffle around. But the higher you climb, the thinner the population gets. If Apex had Valorant-sized ranked pools at Masters, it wouldn't be a problem. But in reality, Master lobbies are like a small-town high school reunion. You keep running into the same 20 people over and over, and half of them you wish you hadn't, and somehow Bob got really, really fat. This is why Q dodging is so destructive. Losing just 5 to 10% of the player pool at Masters creates a domino effect where Qs slow down dramatically, and Respawn knows if high ranks collapse, it hurts the whole perception of ranked health. Nobody wants to grind a ladder that looks like it's falling apart at the top, which is why Diamonds are now the great compromise. Sorry, Diamond players. By expanding Masters matchmaking down into D2 and D3, Respawn gives Masters more people to fight, while still keeping some sense of balance. But here's the dark truth. Diamonds are about to become Apex's version of middle management. They're just the buffer between the hardcore elite and the casual middle class. They're not quite plats, not quite preds, just perpetually stuck in the awkward grind zone where Masters are farming them and they're farming the occasional plat that slips through. It's like being the middle child of ranked, invisible, overworked, and constantly bullied by both sides. But that's basically what Respawn is planning to do with the matchmaking in the future. We're going to go ahead and jump into community clips now. Don't forget to submit your own to me at Thordan Smash on Twitter. But without further ado, let's roll it.
Taking fire.
A decoy escape deployed. And they're hitting me. You got bamboo. Recharging shield.
Taking a new angle.
Bad news. I'm down. Got a bad guy. Also right here, right in front of me.
Free shield.
Bad guy. Fire. My weapon is enhanced. Enemy shield.
Killed.
I have been down.
Another squad. Brace yourself. Reloading. I'll give them. Come on, the ring's closing in 10 seconds. That enemy shield is broken. Recharging shield. The dark pierces through.
I killed an enemy. Reloading.
Let me know down below, guys, what are your thoughts on matchmaking in Apex Legends right now? Also, don't forget to check out this video right here where I cover outdoor news on the daily, like that video I just talked about with the diet. And until next time, everyone, keep slaying in the Outlands. I'll see you out there.